So we're reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 9, text 26. Chapter
9:22.
9,
9:22.
9:26. Yeah, yes, yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna, good evening or afternoon, lunchtime. For
It
some,
would be about lunchtime.
lunchtime, yes. We're here in Lisnice.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like inconceivable.
And then both Ladini, Shakti, and Yogeshwar and Bhuvanish. And we're having a wonderful gathering with very joyful kirtan. Thank you. So we're going to study from Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, verse 26. We'll do line for line Sanskrit and then go to translation. Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Tadaham bhakti uparitam.
Tataham bhakti uparitam.
Ashnani prayatatmanaha.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Patram pushpam phalam. Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Tadaham bhakti uparitam.
Tataham bhakti uparitam.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Tadaham bhakti uparitam.
Tataham bhakti uparitam.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Adaham bhakti paritam.
Tataham bhakti uparitam.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha. Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Tataham bhakti uparitam.
Tadaham bhakti uparitam.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Tadaham bhakti uparitam.
Tataham bhakti uparitam.
Ashnami prayatatmana.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yome bhaktya prayachati.
Yome bhaktya prayachati.
Tataham bhakti uparitam.
Tataham bhakti upahritam.
Ashnami prayatatmana.
Ashnami prayatatmana.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yome bhaktya prayachati.
Yome bhaktya prayachati.
Tataham bhaktya uparitam.
Tataham bhakti upahritam.
Ashnami prayatatmana.
Ashnami prayatatmana.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam.
Yome bhaktya prayachati.
Yome bhaktya prayachati.
Tadaham bhakti uparitam.
Tataham bhakti upahritam. Ashnami prayatatmana.
Would anyone online like to lead the chanting? Okay. So we'll do the word for word. Patram,
Patram,
a leaf.
a leaf.
Pushpam,
Pushpam,
a flower.
flower.
Phalam,
Phalam,
a fruit.
a fruit.
Toyam,
Toyam,
water.
water.
Ya,
Ya,
whoever.
whoever.
Me,
Faith.
unto me. Bhaktya,
Bhaktya,
with devotion.
with devotion.
Prayachati,
Prayachati,
offers.
offers.
Tat,
Tat,
that.
that.
Aham,
Aham,
I.
I.
Bhakti uparitam,
Bhakti uparitam.
offered in devotion.
Offer devotion.
Ashnami,
Ashnami,
accept.
accept.
Prayata atmanaha,
Prayatmanaha.
of one in pure consciousness.
One in pure consciousness.
Translation. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Here, Lord Krishna, having established that he is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, and the real object of all sacrificial offerings, reveals what types of sacrifices he desires to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme in order to be purified and to reach the goal of life, the transcendent loving service of God, then he should find out what the Lord desires of him. One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants, and he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked for. Thus, meat, fish, and eggs should not be offered to Krishna. If he desired such things as offerings, he would have said so. Instead, he clearly requests that a leaf, fruit, flowers, and water be given to him, and he says of this offering, I will accept it. Therefore, we should understand that he will not accept meat, fish, and eggs. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk, and water are the proper foods for human beings and are prescribed by Lord Krishna himself. Whatever else we eat cannot be offered to him, since he will not accept it. Thus, we cannot be acting on the level of loving devotion if we offer such foods. In the 3rd chapter, verse 13, Sri Krishna explains that only the remains of sacrifice are purified and fit for consumption by those who are seeking advancement in life and release from the clutches of the material entanglement. Those who do not make an offering of their food, he says in the same verse, are said to be eating only sin. In other words, their every mouthful is simply deepening their involvement in the complexities of material nature. By preparing nice, simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the picture of deity of Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering, enable one to advance steadily in life, to purify the body and to create fine brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food, since he already possesses everything that be. Yet he will accept the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in preparation, in serving, and in offering is to act with love for Krishna. The impersonalist philosophers who wish to maintain that the absolute truth is without senses cannot comprehend this verse of Bhagavad Gita. To them, it is either a metaphor or proof of the mundane character of Krishna, the speaker of the Gita. But in actuality, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, has senses, and it is stated that his senses are interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. In the 7th chapter, Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature. This is done by his looking upon material nature. And so in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotee's words of love in offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. I'm going to read the sentence again. So in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotee's words of love in offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. This point should be emphasized because of his absolute position. His hearing is wholly identical with his eating and tasting. Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand that the supreme absolute truth can eat food and enjoy it. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Ramayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri
Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavaksha Shri Rupam Saranjatam Savanam Natamvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganalanikam Shri Shakanvitam Shah Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopeshna Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Navosute Tata Kanchana Gurange Radhe Vindavishwari Krishna Sute Devi Pranamani Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Namo Vishnu
Padaya, Krishna Krishna Bhutale, Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunyavani, Paschatya Deshatarine.
So this is a prayer to that whatever I speak and we speak is aligned with what Srila Prabhupada and Sri Krishna want to offer to us. So I yesterday evening, Yogeshwar asked me, would you give class? And I agreed. And I was thinking, which verse? There's so many wonderful verses. And I asked Noah. And Noah said, do you have a Bhagavad Gita? I will just open the page. And I said, no, I can do that myself. But I felt inspired because this is the one verse that Noah learned by heart when she was very small. So I have a special connection to this verse. And it's also it's actually Noah and Anuk, my children, who led me to do a lot of research in Krishna consciousness and Bhagavad Gita, and because they would ask me so many questions. Like Anuk, when she started to speak, she always wanted to hear Krishna stealing butter. So I would tell the story. That's the only thing I knew from Krishna books. So I would tell it 20 times a day. And then I was like, okay, there's more. I know there's more. And she wanted to know more. So I started to read Krishna book. So similarly, Noah, she's more like she has very sharp mind. And she would ask questions like, why do we offer food? And we explained, and she would say, yeah, but when we swallow what we eat, it passes our heart, and Paramatma is in the heart, so it's offered anyway.
That's a smart question.
So yeah, well, there's more to that than just passing it by Krishna. there's more to it, and this verse explains it. It's about the love, it's about devotion. That's what Krishna is looking for. That's what he wants. He's looking for our love. And here we hear Krishna personally speaking. Like as we were chanting, everyone was chanting in Sanskrit. That's the language Krishna spoke, Sanskrit. That's how he spoke it 6,000 years ago. And now today we can hear it and we can repeat it, the same words that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Person in the universe, entire universe, what he spoke. So, yeah, we're all looking for happiness, right? Like if you just, go into your mind and think, what's the first thing that comes to your mind that you would like to have or that you would like to do? What's the first something that comes to your mind? Something you would like to do?
Not suffer.
Not suffer.
A horse.
Ride a horse. Ride a horse. Be with your kids.
Oh.
Yeah. So why do you not want to suffer? Why do you want a horse? Why do you want to be with your kids?
Because we love them.
Because you love them.
Yeah.
And because you feel happy when you are with your children, or when you're with your horse, or when you're not suffering. So we're all looking for happiness in everything we do and everything we desire to have. There's a desire to experience happiness. And there's different ways we can get happiness, right? We can get happiness from a horse, from not suffering, from being with kids. There's so many other ways. And there are some ways we seek happiness, which obviously don't lead to happiness, but still we do these things because we want to be happy. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita illuminates us, gives us understanding where is the way to find happiness that is lasting. Like I know I get a lot of happiness from being with my children, but sometimes you're not with your children right now, so it's not a lasting happiness. It's not like. So it brings suffering and sadness and pain of separation. And so Krishna enlightens us. There are different ways to find happiness. Some happiness leads to immediate distress. Some happiness leads to some distress later on. And there is a happiness which is everlasting, which will never end. And what he tells us, almost in every chapter, he will say, like, surrender to me, think of me, do what you do for me, offer to me. This is the happiness. This is where our nature feels at home, like a fish in the ocean, and we'll feel happy. So we all want happiness, and we all want to create certain results. Also, Arjuna here, he wants to create a result. He's on the battlefield, and he's supposed to fight in one of the biggest battles in history. And he wants a result. He's such an elevated character. He has very strong principles and a very soft heart. And he wants a result that is beneficial for everyone. And he's not sure whether fighting this war will actually bring benefit to everyone. He's not certain, he has doubts. And so he turns to his friend Krishna to find out what is the best activity that brings everyone like ultimate happiness and fulfillment. so he consults with Krishna. He's fortunate to have Krishna on his chariot and ask him questions, and we are fortunate to hear the conversation, because all the questions that Arjuna asks and Krishna responds to, they're for us who are like somehow searching for happiness, not really knowing where to find it. So we get light, we get enlightened. Yeah, so there's it's actually a very simple solution Krishna gives for this, like this search for fulfillment and benefit for everyone that Krishna gives, and it's bhakti yoga. Do what you do with love and devotion, and do it for me. And in doing that, actually, like that's the one. Like we're all different. We all come from different families, backgrounds, experiences, different education, different nationality, maybe even different religion, and so there are a lot of differences. Some of us are very strong physically, and others are not. So many inequalities, we could say. And there is one thing which is where we all have the same chance, the same opportunity, and that is turning to God with love and devotion. Anyone can do that at any point. Whatever we did in our past or didn't do, we can make a choice right now to turn to God and get to know Him and learn what it means to devote my life to God, to Krishna. So that's the one thing, like actually so many things, like getting a horse or being with the children or any other goals, there can be so many obstacles, so many things can get in the way, that can stop us from achieving that result. And devotional service, there's nothing can get in the way. Like there's a French saint, I forget her name. She was very sick, like she couldn't move her body, and she was lying in the room. And people would go to her because they found such healing in her presence. She was fully absorbed in thinking of God, and even though her body was completely sick and she couldn't do anything, you could say she couldn't contribute. She was contributing so much by her God consciousness. So even the strongest pain and illness could not stop her from doing devotional service. I was going to quote a verse at this point. Savai pumsam parodamo yato bhakti radokshache ahaitu kya pratiyata yayatma suprasidati. So this is the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which says that like there's nothing material can get in the way of loving God and serving God. And when we do that, when we love God and serve God with devotion, then the soul, the self, is going to be completely satisfied. Mm-hmm. There's an everlasting happiness and fulfillment coming from that. And that's to me, all these verses, they are a promise. It's like Krishna, or in Srimad Bhagavatam, it's Shukadev Goswami. They're promising to us that there's personalities that have the bigger picture. They can see us from the perspective of Krishna, and they have seen like hundreds and thousands and millions of spirit souls wandering through the material world, and they have experienced turning to God and coming to full God consciousness and to love of God, and they share with us their realizations. So it's like a promise. Like a promise. When we perform devotional service, we will be happy and fulfilled forever, and fulfillment will increase. It's not that, oh, now I'm happy, it's good. It will increase eternally. So they are promising that to us. And devotional service, we can think of, my mind, immediately goes to doing. Like I, do something. And there is, yeah, we do a lot, we're active, and so we can devote anything we do to Krishna. And actually, just what we're doing right now is devotional service. Sitting here, like this joy, I'm very inspired by your kirtan, so much joy in your singing and guitar playing. That's devotional service. It's fun. It's fun and it's nourishing. And what we're doing now, listening and trying to understand and really absorb the message of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, that's devotional service. So that's available for all of us and it's universal. We could give this class in Kenya or I don't know, where are you going to go?
Guatemala.
Guatemala. We could give this class in the desert, in the Sahara Desert in Africa, and like it's true for anyone, anywhere. It's universal. It's not even about a religion. Like choose a certain religion. We were reading from the Bible over Christmas, and like each year, like at Christmas and at Easter, I read in the Bible, and each year I feel like I'm understanding more what Jesus Christ is teaching us through his words and also through his example, and that he didn't start. His intention wasn't to start a religion. Like he just wants to give us Bhakti Yoga. He wanted to teach us how to love God from wherever we are. And then later on, a religion was made around it. But Jesus didn't draw like a plan to build a church. that came later on. So it's universal, like Bhakti Yoga. It's the service to God with love and devotion. It's what the soul desires to do and what the soul does in eternity. And the soul is not Swiss or Czech or American or Russian or African. No, the soul is spirit. And that's the same anywhere and everywhere. And that's actually what Krishna is waiting for. He's waiting for us. Sometimes we can think, why, like if Krishna wants us to love him, why are we in the material world? Or why is it so hard? Or what? And that's one special quality of Krishna. He loves us unconditionally, which means wherever we are, whatever we do, he loves us. And that's inconceivable, right? We can be doing like horrible things. And I'm not advertising for anyone to do horrible things, and still that's Krishna loves a murderer, he loves a thief. It's unconditional, and he's waiting for us to turn towards him. Someone once said to me, God misses you. And I felt really moved by that. Like, why? I am a tiny soul out of millions and trillions, and no, but Krishna is waiting for you and for you, and for everyone here who's like eager that we turn towards him and serve him with love and devotion and remember him. And for everything we do for Krishna, he will do 1,000 things for us. We take one step towards him and he will take 1,000 steps towards us. That's how eager he is. It's like he's just waiting. When can and he will not force himself on us. Like if we don't want to turn to Krishna, then he will not force. He will not use force. So here in this verse, I chose this verse yesterday, and I didn't know that I was going to cook, and I didn't know that I was going to support you in cooking prasada for Krishna, and so I thought, okay, it's perfectly arranged. It's like a theme today. Yes, yeah. So why do we offer something to Krishna? It's that Krishna is. I really like when Srila Prabhupada he gets very very like down to earth. And he says, if someone comes to you and says, I am Krishna, then here you can test the person. Like you can test the person. And one thing he says, we can like observe. So this person claims to be Krishna, God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we can see, does that person have, is that person full in 6 opulences? So it said that Krishna, he's the most beautiful. So you can think of like, what's the most beautiful person you can think of? And then Krishna is even more beautiful. Or what's the strongest person that comes to your mind? Krishna is stronger. And you know, as kids, we would sometimes do this, like, who is stronger? Who is like, my dad is stronger than your dad. No, my dad is really strong, but my grandfather is really strong. And then like the joker was to say, God is even stronger. So yeah, when we can say that, that's how we can test the person. Is he the most richest? Is he the richest person in the world? Is there someone richer? Yeah, Krishna is like, if someone's the richest, it must be Krishna. Or the most famous. Who is the most famous person right now?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
I don't have any idea what that is.
Elon Musk. Is he famous throughout the whole universe?
No.
Obviously not.
Yeah, so the most famous is not restricted to our planet. It's like in the whole universe. Who's the most famous? So that's a test we can do. Like it's beauty, strength, opulence or riches, like rich, renunciation, the most renunciated, and most famous. And there's one more.
Power.
Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Knowledge is power. Yeah. Is there anyone who knows more? So that's a test we can do. So actually, Krishna doesn't need anything. He doesn't need that we offer him like a small plate with some rice and dal and peas, because everything belongs to him. And still, he's really happy, like he's saying here. I'm really happy. I will accept when you offer me this with love and devotion. And as Malini, she explained that to me, like, I don't know how many years ago, 9 years ago. We had a cooking class in Florida, and we were staying there. And she explained, okay, cooking prasadam, it's like when your child comes and says, I want to like a birthday present for you, and can I have some paper and pens and glue and and I give the child everything, and then the child goes into the room and he creates like a wonderful art, and then he comes and says, I have a present for you, and then I feel really happy as a mother, and I think it's the most beautiful picture that was ever created. And why? I mean, all the things that I gave to the child, I got them from the shop. Like, not really a gift I got. But why am I happy? Because the child spent so much time and gave so much love and devotion to creating this gift. And then I feel happy. I feel the love of the child. You asked about Christmas gifts. I got a gift from Anuk. It's a crystal with a dragon. Okay, and it's not like nothing devotional, but like she knows mom likes crystals and she likes dragons, so she got this, and I feel so happy about this gift because I know she thought about me. She like, what does mom like, and and that's what brings happiness to my heart. And Krishna, that's how Krishna, like we're made in his image, so that's how he works. Krishna has feelings, he has senses, he has sensations. And so when he gets, like Eva and Yirka, Yirka cut the pumpkin. And he had the courage to like put all the spices together. And Eva, she peeled the apples and cut them into nice cubes. Like, so that's what makes Krishna really happy. He's like joyful. Oh, they're doing this for me. And then when we're offering it to them, we set the mantras to the offer. And what we hear in this purport, actually also my kids would ask me, Mom, when you offer this, I mean, I looked very closely, but there's still everything there. Nothing's gone. And you're saying Krishna ate it? It's like, so we get an explanation here by Srila Prabhupada that Krishna, he hears our words. He hears our words of prayer. And for him, like, because he is absolute, meaning anything he sees, like what he sees is also like what he hears and feels, and it's all like with all the senses. Like with my sense of touch, I can only feel. I cannot eat or hear. And with my sense of hearing, I can only hear. But Krishna, he can do everything with all the senses. So by hearing our prayers and hearing our words, he eats. He eats. And so he accepts what we offer to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Má trochu níž než zadek.
So Krishna is he's a person. He's a person like us and not like us, but he's in so many ways like, okay, we are like Krishna. And Krishna reveals himself in Bhagavad Gita and in how he's present everywhere. Like Arjuna also wants to know, how can I perceive you in this world with my senses? And Krishna will say, like, I am the taste of water, I am the fragrance, the original fragrance of earth. There's also a story to this verse. May I share it? We moved to a new place in February, and we decided to make a garden. And so we actually got like a huge lorry, van, I don't know what you call it.
Truck.
A truck, it was a truck. It was huge. And it was filled with compost. And then they put it into our garden. And Paramatma, he was going to, fill the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And just, bring the compost to the beds. And we found him. He was lying in the compost like this. Intoxicated. Like, this is the original fragrance of Krishna. He was really
Emotional ecstasy.
I have some compost here. We can go party.
I'm trying to remember the Sanskrit. Punya, no, what's the Sanskrit for that?
Punyo Ganda.
Yeah, Punya Ganda
Prithvivyam Cha.
Yes. So that was our slogan for a while. So that's how we learn verses through that. Okay. So Krishna reveals himself where he's present, how we can perceive him. And here in this chapter, which is called the most confidential knowledge, we get to know Krishna as a person who has likes and he also has dislikes. So, naturally when we get to know someone and we start to love them, then we want to do something that's pleasing to them. Like we want them to be happy also. And so here Krishna reveals himself as a person and as someone who likes certain things and doesn't like certain things. And what Krishna, so actually Srila Prabhupada, he explains in the purport, even in food, there's certain things he likes and that he doesn't like. So he likes leaves and flowers and fruit and water. Srila Prabhupada adds he likes milk. He doesn't like fish and meat. And why doesn't he like it? I think that's an important question to ask because it involves a lot of violence. Like, so Krishna, all his creatures are dear to him, no matter in what body, human body or animal body or plant body. So, one of his creatures is hurt, violently hurt, it's sad for him, it pains his heart. And so we don't want to offer something to someone that, you know, that causes them pain. So Krishna gives here very personal information. It's most confidential because it's actually the pure devotional service that he explains here. And yeah, so to know about Krishna, actually to look at it that way, you can look at no meat, no fish, like don't do this, don't do that. And it's like, oh, you know, I rebel when I get regulations. To look at it from the aspect of, no, actually Krishna feels sad when I hurt his creatures. He's then like I feel, wow, I don't want to hurt this person who is so loving and so benevolent and just waiting for me to turn towards him. Why would I cause pain to this person?
And what about eggs? Why he doesn't
Eggs.
like eggs?
Yeah, well, my understanding about that is eggs are meant to produce an embryo, and a chicken. And so to eat the egg, to take it away from the hen is like taking away the baby.
Right. In some cases, there is not a cook, so.
Yes, and that's then like, yeah. And still, even if there is no cock and it will not become a chicken. It's still like the substance is made to create a body. Whereas, you know, with milk, it's actually, milk is meant to feed. It's not meant to create a.
Like there's the violence factor. There's also the cleanliness factor, and eggs coming from an unclean place.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need to get into the details, but they come from an unclean place.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, thank you for
Yeah,
that.
there's the cleanliness factor. Yeah, and yeah, then of course with milk, you know, you can get into the violence of the dairy industry like that. But okay, that's a discussion. But in principle, and I know, and this surprises some people, actually back 1992 to 96, on a fairly regular basis, I was actually personally milking a cow. I was living in a place and the owner had a cow. Her name was Mavati. And sometimes the owner would go away for like a month and then I would milk the cow. And our children, Chitana, they were like between 0 and 5 years old during that time period. And not that you need my personal experience, but I could see in the very natural, there's a natural symbiotic relationship. And the cow, the cow was very relieved. If the cow doesn't get milked because the cow's calf doesn't drink enough, or if the cow's calf were to drink everything, it would get sick. So there's like a very natural relationship between the cow and the human. And I know for us, it was just wonderful to, without even to get organic milk at the store, like it couldn't compare. Like it would be like fresh from the cow's udder to our children. It just, I felt very blessed to serve like that. And so again, I'm not talking about the industrialized dairy farming, but there is a very natural relationship between the cow and the human, and I'll call it a very clean relationship. So there's like a distinction there. In one sense, it's a more subtle distinction compared to, like, you know, it's easy to understand why don't we just like kill the cow and the pig and eat them, because that's violence. So when you get into like, well, why not eggs compared to milk? It's clear, but it's a more subtle distinction.
Thank you for that. And it actually leads to where I wanted to go next, like the cleanliness.
Yeah.
Like what we eat, actually becomes our body, and it pervades our consciousness. So when we eat, like we can observe ourselves when we eat something like healthy and fresh, we get energy, we feel strong. When we eat something that's been cooked 2 days ago and kept warm, you know, there's no life energy left, and then we feel heavy and tired afterwards. So what we eat, and also the consciousness with which the food is prepared, we are influenced by that. It influences our own consciousness. So if we eat something that's, created or prepared with a lot of violence and fear and it's going to affect us. That's different than when we cook something with love and devotion and as little violence involved as possible, and that's another another opportunity that Krishna offers us is in Bhagavad Gita, is how we can learn to live a clean life, like a clean life in what we eat, in what we do, like clean habits. Clean habits, I mean habits that bring us true happiness, lasting happiness, and not habits that bring us.
Fingerprints to unlock the device.
not habits that bring us pain and bring us suffering. So we want to purify. Was it yesterday we spoke about sinful activity, and that no, it wasn't sinful activity. We spoke about the results of pious activities and impious activities, and that actually in God consciousness we like all the reactions are burnt to our impious and to our pious activities, and that burning is purification. So our mind gets purified, our heart gets purified, and the purification here's the path for us to connect with ourself and the nature of ourself, which naturally wants to sing and dance and love God. So this is purifying. And yet this morning we chanted a round of japa and together, and the chanting is in itself, it's devotional service, and it's purifying. It was given to us by Lord Chaitanya, or it was empowered by Lord Chaitanya, the chanting of the Maha Mantra, because it said, okay, you can help me. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Kevalam Karam Asti which means in this time that we live, that we happen to live, there's so much quarrel and so much falsity, inauthenticity, hypocrisy, and Lord Chaitanya says actually the chanting of the names of God, the names of Krishna, that's the fastest way. It's the shortcut to purify our heart and our mind, to purify it from all the tendencies that lead to fighting and quarreling and conflicts and hiding behind masks and being inauthentic and trying to maintain a certain image. So to purify our heart from all of this tendency, the chanting is the most efficient way in our time. And so as we and also here in the chanting, so it said Krishna is absolute. So by hearing us offering food to him, it's transformed into prasadam, he accepts it. So similarly, Krishna is fully present in his holy name. So when we chant the holy name, like we did this morning, or also in kirtan, then Krishna, it's none different than Krishna. Krishna is here, he's on our tongue. It said he's dancing. Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on our tongue when we're chanting. I'm saying this not with realization. I don't have realization of that. I just, I hear it and I accept it, and I would love to realize it. I don't. And still, it's a wonderful meditation. For me to think, when I'm chanting the holy names, it's purifying for my heart, it's purifying for my mind, it brings me clarity. And I'm directly associating with God, with Krishna, with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Supreme Person in all the universe. And he's here with all his love and all his unconditional love and all his longing to be with us when we chant. That's all present. And so we can create habits in our lives, where I endeavor to create habits in my life that help me like do more and more things for Krishna, for God, and to do it with love and devotion. And like the cleaning process, as a child, I learned to clean my teeth twice a day. And today I don't think about it, I just do it. And if I go to bed without cleaning my teeth, I feel like something's off. Or to get up in the morning and not have a shower, I feel like, oh. So it's a habit I created in this lifetime. And so we can create, we're free to create new such habits all the time. Habits of, okay, I will chant 1 round of japa every day. And it will have such a powerful effect on my consciousness. And I can start with 1 round per day and I increase it. I can say, okay, every Sunday I cook for Krishna and I offer it. And I do that for a year and it has a wonderful effect. And then I can say, okay, Sundays and Wednesdays. And I can increase these habits that that prepare my heart to receive Krishna's love and also to reciprocate. So, coming to the end of what I wanted to share, this offering of food, to turn it into prasadam. It's actually, Srila Prabhupada says it's the secret weapon. And I will reveal something that I haven't revealed to my husband before. But when I took the Sattva seminars,
So
2006,
turn the recording off.
He's hearing it now, so. I came home and I started, soon after I started chanting. And my husband was a little critical. What happened to her? I don't know what happened to her. And I thought, okay, I don't know how to share with him. I know from now on, I will cook. I will make sure I offer food. So he only gets prasadam. And so that was one of my endeavors to try to make him understand what I discovered. And I don't know if it was successful, but you like
Seems like it. That's by your results.
Based on results, it seems successful.
Oh, there were other factors too.
I feel like a bit like guinea pig now.
Yes, you were.
Was.
And now I share prasadam with, like, at Christmas meeting with my family. My greatest happiness was when I saw them eat prasadam. Okay, my day is like, even if my day is successful, I felt accomplished. Now, what's the word? I felt accomplished. Accomplished. Like, okay, my family, they ate prasadam, because I'm beginning to see how much power there is in prasadam. Like, I don't think I can ever understand because it's so powerful, and still there's something very special in prasadam, and it's everyone wants to eat, so it's something we can give to everyone, and it's a way of sharing love. It's going to purify their heart. It's going to have an effect on their heart, and they might not be aware, but it is going to happen that their propensities to fight and quarrel and deceit, and they're going to disappear with time. So it's a way to contribute to peace on this earth. Yeah. So offering is a way of acknowledging God, connecting with God in a very personal way, and also appreciating what He's given to us. Yeah, so I don't know, what is the time? Okay, we have till 7.
Yes, but also discussion.
Yeah, so there's time for, I'm not going to stay there.
was thinking, but yeah, okay, no, so I mean, I'm happy to hear you.
No, I'm actually most excited about the discussion part, so I invite your comments, questions, corrections. Yes, Arjuna.
Can I have a question? I like actually Prabhupada is really like often mentioned that we should actually behave and actually act with the devotion in actually all the services and all the things which we are doing like daily for Krishna. Because I actually many times catched me, uh, for example, in temple, and that I'm just that I just how to act just like machine, like pump to this clean this pump, and so how can I actually recognize that I'm actually behaving in devotion? It's there like some, I would say, like some, I would say like some that I can actually catch it and like now okay, I'm actually in this way when I'm doing it like devotionally for Krishna, not just like machine.
Yeah, thank you for your question and sharing. What I'm understanding is sometimes you catch yourself, you observe yourself, and that you're acting like like mechanical, going through the things and not with consciousness and presence and everything. And I'm actually hearing a response in your question when you're saying that you become aware. Like you become aware, oh, now I'm acting like a machine. And oh, now I'm acting with devotion. So it seems like in your awareness, there is, when you are aware, you get the response. So maybe the question is, how can you be aware all the time? What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
So like to recognize it, like to get myself, okay, now actually I'm not, I feel like I'm machine. This is all really like some how to say realization, or like Krishna maybe he see like, oh, this Arjuna does, now he realized, and this could be like some devotional. I don't know if I can like explain it.
You mean like when you notice, oh, you're acting like a machine, it can be like a signal. It's go like, oh, Arjuna, you're like a machine, and then you can make a choice. It's like when we become aware of our consciousness, or how we speak, how we listen, how we do things, then we get a choice. It's like once we're aware, our awareness is in sattva gun, and sattva gun means we can see choices and we can make choices. So when you see yourself like in mechanic mode, you can go like, oh, signal, and take a moment and choose how you want to continue.
I'm appreciating the conversation. Actually, just yesterday, I was listening to kind of random classes from random class from Srila Prabhupada, and he was talking just around the theme here, and he was talking about chanting, but he was talking about all services, and he was saying like it's it's not meant to be mechanical. He specifically said, and he Prabhupada, like I was very moved. He used the word with feeling. Devotional service, it's done with feeling. The chanting is done with feeling, the cutting the vegetables. And just like hearing Prabhupada's vibration saying, with feeling, I was feeling something. I was feeling something. And you could see like, yeah, our spiritual master, current link to the Prabhupada, it's just there's nothing ritualistic, there's nothing mechanical. He was really wanting to communicate to me, and I guess whoever was there, but I felt like personal, communicate something like with feeling. And like, that was helpful for me to hear that from Prabhupada. It's like not something we don't philosophically know, but to hear it, it's helping me just in the past 24 hours to be more aware. When am I going through something mechanically? And of course, even if we chant or do the service mechanically, there's still benefit. The cure for offensive chanting is more chanting and that sort of thing. But just with so much feeling, Prabhupada was communicating. It's done with feeling. I just felt that personal energy, the personal connection, the personal care that Prabhupada wants us to do our service consciously with feeling. And that related, I think, to the exchange between Anandini and you. This morning also, we referenced that verse, Matras Varsastra Kanti Ashitoshna Sukadukada Agamapayun Nishnas Tamas Titik Sasvabharata. At the closure of that, Tamas Titik Sasvabharata, Krishna uses that term to tolerate without being disturbed. And so I see this to tolerate, I don't see it like tolerate, but basically tolerate means, to use language some of us are very familiar with, it means to experience our experience. Like if I'm tolerating something, it means I'm noticing, I'm experiencing the feeling of anger. I'm noticing, I'm experiencing the feeling of mechanical. I'm noticing, I'm experiencing the thoughts are distracted. And then with that consciousness, okay, with that consciousness, then we get, as you were saying in the, I'll call it the Singapore class today, with that consciousness, then I get to understand, okay, I'm not this mechanical experience. I'm the experiencer. And then as the experiencer, I get to choose presence and focus. Hare Krishna.
Also, I see something that whatever I do, I try to do better. I do it with joy, because some stuff are like maybe boring. I don't want to like cutting vegetables for 1 hour. Something else, it's more joyful. And I try, for example, in my work, to do everything. I try. Doesn't work all the time. With joy, because sometimes people come with something small, just with a tick to take out from the animal, and sometimes it's life saving the animal. And I got myself that these small things, it's like every day the same, and it becomes boring. So yeah, I try to don't distinguish if this is important or this is more important. So I try to see joy in everything, or on the same level. If it's like something hard or something easy, also with people, also with animals, it's like, yeah, I try to see it on the same level. It's hard, but
Thank you for sharing that. Like, you endeavor to take everything important, like, and to give your full presence to whatever comes to you, and not judge. Oh yeah, this is like something small. I will just. This is important.
Yeah, and for me, it was important to don't judge the people, because I'm judging the people that are coming with this thing. This is nothing, or judging like how they are acting with their animals or something. And now I try to understand them, why they are acting like that, and just
Yeah. So I'm sensing it's a big difference in your experience. Like when you're judging people, like it's maybe, like.
And it makes me angry. Like,
Yeah,
I'm judging
you create
them,
your
I'm
own.
really angry.
You create
Yeah.
your own suffering.
Yes,
through the
exactly.
judgments.
Yes.
And by suspending the judgments
Mhm.
and giving your presence to every person that comes to you, and your empathy and trying to enter their world, then you're feeling joy and fulfillment.
Yes, exactly.
It's reminiscent. Krishna describes that this bhakti yoga, pachakshiva gamam damyam shushukam kartumavyam. He says this process is joyfully performed. So that's it's a sign that we're aligned. I see Bhakti George.
Can I just give a quick comment to this,
yes.
to Eva, before you go? Church. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah, your sharing reminds me of the song from the movie Brother Moon and Sister Luna, or the other way around.
St. Francis.
Yes, and it goes like, if you want to live life free, take your time, go slowly. Do few things, but do them well. Heartfelt work grows purely. And I'm really often like reminding myself of this, like, okay, like whatever I am doing, and I will use the word try to, I'm endeavoring to like do it well. Like if it's like something on my to-do list, it must be that I'm meant to do it. If Krishna, had a different plan, I would be somewhere else. So just do it well. And it's so satisfying. And it can be like a little boring, annoying task, but it's like if I like really like give my 100% to like do it with all care and all love and like that, it's really satisfying. And then that's like sattva. And then to bring Krishna there, that's the Krishna consciousness. It's not just like doing it well for the animal or for the person, but doing it well that like Krishna is really pleased to like see me doing it. So and then like anything, like you can be a veterinarian and doing Krishna consciousness, but we really need to have the practice of like every morning to chant Hare Krishna mantra and read a little bit to remind ourselves, this is how I want to go through my day. Otherwise, it's not possible for us to like get to that platform of remembering.
And to keep it.
Yeah.
Every day.
Hare Krishna. Okay.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for class this morning. I'm appreciating where the conversation is going, and I really like your sharing, Dira, that tolerance requires like experiencing our experience. I was chanting this morning, and I walked by the refrigerator, and I noticed that Danielle has posted. It's called 7 Principles of Fulfilling Relationships. I think it's something she might have gotten from the PBTC course, and she has them listed there. And as I was chanting, empathy seems like is one of them, and she has written below empathy. She has written the first duty of love is to listen.
Just a note, actually, this was created in conjunction with Dear Govinda, and then Mother Anasuya created the PDF that's on my fridge.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. And I was meditating this idea of the first duty of love is to listen, right? And this, what does it mean? This idea of how do we start our process of conscious living from going to Sappho seminars, and it's this notion of experiencing my experience, right? And so I was thinking like that's like the starting point, and because growing up in the Christian faith, I've always heard love your neighbor as you love yourself, right? And so hearing this thing this morning, it connected with me this idea that, because what does it mean to love myself? What does it mean to love myself? And then seeing this idea of experience your experience, connecting it with empathy, like the first duty of love is to listen. It seems like, if I want to be more conscious, more aware of why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I'm putting so much effort in this life, why is there so much distress? I really appreciate this idea that self-love means to listen, to experience my experience. Like it seems like that's like the first step of loving myself. And I'm feeling really grateful this morning, Anandini, because I needed to hear you say that the distinction between seeking that happiness that leads to distress or seeking that happiness that is eternal. You said that earlier, and that really struck right in my heart, like that happiness that brings distress versus the happiness that is eternal. And I was thinking, Krishna somehow this month has arranged for us to attend a meeting by a colleague of mine. who I have no relation to other than Krishna's divine arrangement to arrange it for us. And this gentleman is a leader in our profession, in the sense that he's very outspoken. And what the nature of this meeting that has been arranged for me is that he is going to teach us how to do what he does. And the interesting factor is that somehow or other, this colleague of mine is making a profit in his business at the rate of $1 million every month. And I was thinking about what you said, because it was a big deal among the group. I was thinking what you said about that happiness that leads to distress, or that happiness that is eternal. And I was considering, like, I don't know why I was invited into this. It's a very private kind of group that does these kind of meetings. And then I was considering my motivation for doing the things, my motivation for working really hard, my motivation for showing up, even attending this meeting will involve a lot of austerity from my family. We will have to separate from Sarasvati for like 2 days, which is our first time that we have since she's 5 years old now. We have never done that.
Yep, that's true.
Yes, it's true. And I was considering, you know, everybody's like, oh, so this guy makes over whatever, $10 million a year. And, you know, and then I was thinking after you shared that this morning, that's over 10 million opportunities for distress a year.
Yeah.
You know, and conversely, I was thinking, what would it mean to have over 10 million opportunities a year to serve Srila Prabhupada's movements in a very real way? Like, what does 10 to 12 million dollars of prasadam plates look like? Or what does a Ratha Yatra in Orlando that comes from that funds look like? What could it look like to support Gopal Eco Village or our friends at Bliss London with those funds? Like, what could that mean for Srila Prabhupada's movement?
Czech Republic.
Or yeah, and so it's really, because like you said, like we're all trying to become happy. We're all endeavoring very hard, right? Like we're going to endeavor, we're going to act either way. And I'm really appreciating you saying that this morning, because it's brought a lot of clarity for me and the understanding of what is the nature of the happiness that I'm seeking with all the disturbances, and because it's one thing, like, yes, it's going to be disturbance in reaching whatever happiness, but then one happiness will lead me to further distress, and one happiness will be eternal. So I'm really, really appreciating what you said, and I really needed to hear it this morning. Yeah.
Thank you, George, for sharing your insights and your process around self-love. Like, the first duty of love is to listening to ourselves. It was a theme this morning, right? It was a theme this morning in our morning reading, morning class of what does it mean to take care of the self or love the self, and what's the balance. And so I'm appreciating your insight. And yeah, like when you're sharing about what moved me in your sharing was like a million opportunities to create distress and a million opportunities to serve Srila Prabhupada, and to make this comparison. And you know, from your sharing, I'm getting like the million opportunities to serve Srila Prabhupada. Like they are like a lot, there's a lot more substance and value and joy in that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the idea of it being eternal and ever expanding.
Mm.
You know, it's like, because before I was going to a lot of denial and self, like what is it, spiritual bypass, where it's like, oh, you know, whatever things are just, you know, no, like there is material happiness. I can experience it, right? Like I have an experience of what that happiness is, And then I also have an experience of all those, like we were talking about, like sinful activities or things that are inherently happy at first, but then bring so much suffering. So we still go through that happiness, but why go through it when I know I'm going to suffer from it? When I know that whatever that endeavor is, is gonna lead to that,
Yeah,
disturbing.
why do that sidetrack? Why not go directly for the eternal happiness?
Yeah,
That doesn't bring any suffering.
yeah, yeah. Like why consistently choose that happiness that will bring distress? Whereas where there is also happiness and there's also a different result. So it seems so relevant to me personally, and to also, like, I've been recently experiencing all these things that Krishna has arranged for me, all these interactions, all these events in my life, and it's just experiencing my experience. Like I love that. I love what Dear Govinda said, just like part of talent is just experiencing my experience, and I love the fact that that is tied in with the first step of love. The first duty of love is to experience my experience. Yeah, it is very helpful. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, George. Thank you for sharing that principle of, or like, highlighting the principle of experiencing our experience. How much, how much fulfillment is just in doing that, being in that consciousness.
Yeah, and like seeing like everyone that is around this meeting, or everyone, they're already millionaires themselves in their own right. They all drive like, and to see them like the hankering that's there, and it's like, but like you've experienced this happiness before. Like you've experienced this. You bought the 6-figure electric car that left you stranded on the side of the road. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you ran out of battery, like, and then to see that, yeah, but he makes like this many more million than me. And now I'm thinking like, yes, and he has that many more opportunities for distress than you, depending on his consciousness and how he's choosing to use it.
Yeah, it's like Krishna is giving you like a mirror outside, where you can see yourself, and it's like, it's magnified, and you're seeing like the same habit in yourself. You're seeing it out there so clearly that you're like, yeah, why would I want to choose the happiness that brings suffering?
Yeah, I mean, being in your association, being at like Gopalika village in the Goshala, and imagining being there serving the cows, and even the simple happiness that is in going with Sarasvati this morning and offering water to Shishi Gaurnita and Srila Prabhupada. Just like it's right there. This verse is so beautiful because it's right there. And if we're going to endeavor so hard to do what this gentleman is doing, all the disturbance that will come with executing all the things and the steps and all the interrelationship things that are going to come up in this process that are already coming up. Like, if we're going to do all this, then let's just do it in a way that will that happiness that will last, that will please Srila Prabhupada, that will please Sri Shri Krishna, and it will give us, that we will feel fulfilled. It just seems so beautiful and straightforward, and it's like acknowledging the happiness and then choosing the right happiness, the right kind of that endures, that happiness that doesn't go away, that, like you were saying earlier, does not crush by like time, it doesn't go away. It just, I have so much more clarity, and I feel so much more, I guess, enlivened and empowered to do this and to engage in all these steps that are coming up, knowing that that is a possibility, that somehow we could serve Srila Prabhupada and attain that. It's very encouraging. Yeah.
Thank you, George. We're glad you feel encouraged by this association here and got clarity for yourself.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments?
I'll comment. I appreciate, Anandini, that you're naturally positive communication about the regulative principles. We can think of regulative as like, thou shalt not, do not, and there's a place for that language. At the same time, like, okay, here on the, we can't eat meat and no meat, it's like, we, in following Prabhupada and practicing Bhakti, we are dedicated to compassion. It's a very positive. We're dedicated to mercy, compassion. We're dedicated to respect for all life. And so and it's like, it's very real. It's very real. I'm not saying there's never a place for, don't do this, don't do that. And we can see all of the rules of the road are like that. Even if we look at this, even if we look, let's say, no intoxication. Oh, no intoxication. Okay, not even can have but kind of, if at least in English, if we look at the word, it means like, we're committed to not put poison in our body. Yeah, that's actually a very positive thing. Intoxication, toxics, like, yeah, we're committed to clean health and to be clean and pure in what we ingest. It's all very positive, and we could do that with all of the regulative principles. Yeah, we're committed to honesty. So, no gambling. I mean, I can't go and put on the roulette. We're committed to freedom from greed. We're committed to honest relationship with the money energy, like that. So I appreciate the truly positive approach. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you for sharing that, because recently someone said to me, like, so you are not allowed to eat meat, and you are not allowed to drink beer, and you are not allowed to have sex.
What is left?
Oh, and what I shared was, no, it's not that I'm not allowed. I can.
Yeah.
I can do all these things. I chose to make a commitment to not do these things. And I can change my commitment anytime. It's true. Like, I could start I could start to eat meat tomorrow. And I know it will have an effect. And so now I have the knowledge, and I can choose. And I happily choose to not intoxicate myself and to not eat meat. It's like, yeah, because I know it will have an effect, and it's not even true that we're not allowed to. Like, we get all the opportunities to do things we don't even want to do. And with wisdom and knowledge we have choices. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
I want to, like, you just add on water. Shared. Acting in the animal office, the vet office. There is a saying, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So, like, I never met like a devotee, like an advanced devotee, who would be very sloppy at his work. Like, it could be the job, it could be the business, some other kind of activity. Always my experience is that one who is like advanced in devotional service is like very attentive and conscious when he does his like work or like business and like that, because it's the same consciousness. It's like it's like, in other words, like creating sattvic environment at work or business supports the devotional service, and the devotional service automatically builds the sattvic consciousness, which kind of transforms the work in other areas of life. So yes, that sounds like, because sometimes one might be inclined to like say, oh, I will just do this neglectfully because it's not devotional service, it's difficult, there are conflicts. Yeah, so that's not Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, like someone who devotes their heart to devotee, they will devote themselves to what they're doing. They will say yes to what they're doing and doing it as excellently as fast as they can.
Yes, and we can see the example of Srila Prabhupada himself. Like if we study how he like kept track of things and like carefully did everything basically. That's the best example.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. I can see myself when I find myself procrastinating. Just bring the host on that.
Oh, yeah.
Or being lazy to do something at work. This could help.
You want to remember Krishna to counteract habits that are not like helpful for you.
Very related to what Ladini shared earlier, like, if it's on my to-do list, then let's be present. Let's give full attention, do it in excellence.
Or not do it at all.
Or not do it. or make clear choice. I'm not giving my time there.
And my sense is that the Bhakti Oasis raised their hand second time. Is that true? Yes.
Hare Krishna. I wanted to say to all of you that I appreciate so much you inviting us to be with you today, and that I don't know that you're aware of this, but I spend a lot of time thinking about each one of you and wanting good things for you. And I feel very connected to you in my heart, each of you. And so I appreciate so much the space. And the leadership that you guys show individually is very inspiring. It's also a little bit anxiety producing because I experience you all as doing these incredible things that seem so outside, like you're all chanting these verses in unison that you just have memorized. And it's like a very impressive feat to me. And I find myself lacking. I find myself lacking sometimes. And I make a lot of errors in my services sometimes. And I feel so inspired hearing your formula for success, which is just to chant more and to give more of your time and endeavor to doing spiritual service. And that's how you're increasing in your excellence. That's a very exciting formula for me because I do find myself endeavoring with a lot of enthusiasm and still being very imperfect. And so thank you for that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Daniel, for sharing your soft heart with us and your good thoughts and blessings. And I can relate to this feeling of shortcoming. Maybe from outside it looks like, oh yeah, they're doing so well, and like I recently heard actually a conversation. It was written. I read a conversation between a scientist and a monk, and the scientist asked, like, how come, like, you monks, like, the further you progress, the worse you feel about yourself. Like, because from my view, you're just getting better and better and better. And then the monk, he gave an example. He said, okay, so if you meet people from your village, how do you feel about yourself? And the scientist said, yeah, like I feel, I'm a scientist. I'm actually quite, high in society. I feel really good about it myself. And he said, so if you go to the next biggest town and there's other scientists, and how do you feel? He said, well, I would feel like, okay, I somehow belong here and I would feel okay about myself. What if you go to the capital city and there's all the big, and he just started to say, I feel worse and worse, and at the end he felt really low. And then the monk said, that's how we feel. Like the closer we get to God, like the purity and the unconditional love, the more we are aware of our shortcomings. So I found that very enlightening and soothing to hear.
I appreciate that so much, and I'll take that. I often feel like our life forces me into these situations of discomfort. I'm the only non-orthodontist attending this conference at the end of January with George. And after being in association with all of you, it's a lot easier to go into these places, with people who have this like mundane leadership, this mundane success. and I don't feel as out of place as I do in a, you know, a Zoom call with you all. You guys are really like the leadership that I look up to. And so, you know, it helps me. It really helps. And so I just thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for being with us. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, I just want to say thank you so much, very specifically for your the stories that you tell and your comparisons. I find them very potent and they've helped me come to realization. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Rosa. So
Just wanted to say Hare Krishna and also that my heart is full for our association today. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia.
I think I saw Rukmini put a heart there.
By the way, it's 18 of us here today, including the online and in-person association.
Okay. Patram pushpam talantayam yome bhaktya prayachati tadam bhakti paritam vashnami prayatat mananam. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Bhagavad Gita. International Association.
All the experience in the devotees.
Hare Krishna personal information. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks for organizing, hosting, program, letting me in Yogeshwar. Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you all for coming. Without that, the organization has no meaning. We organized so many things that no one came. It's true.